Portsmouth, a port and city in the ceremonial county of Hampshire in South England. Home to one of the best known ports, which can be traced all the way back to the Roman times. The city is also one of the most densely populated places in the entire United Kingdom. In theory, lots of people equals lots of foot traffic equals ideal busking conditions. Portsmouth currently has 3 major music venues: the Guildhall, the Wedgwood Rooms, and the Pyramid Centre. The Guildhall being one of the largest venues in the southeast. I've got fond memories of playing Edge of the Wedge, which is a smaller side venue in the Wedgwood Rooms. It's also probably one of the best venue names in the UK. Good times, man, good times. Boasting all these people, a bustling music scene, and a fair few opportunities for busking pitches, it seems this city could be a street musician's paradise. Well, there is only one way to find out. Here is how I got on busking in Portsmouth. Alright then, welcome to Portsmouth, or Pompey as the locals know it. I got a comment on YouTube not too long ago where someone said you should go and busk in Pompey, and I read it as Pompeii, as in like the Italian town that got made into stone when a volcano erupted. So I was very wrong. I'm excited to be here. In order to busk in Pompey or Portsmouth, you need one of these, a license. I'm going to go through the rules and how to get your license now. The rules for busking in Portsmouth. If you want to provide street entertainment by way of busking in Portsmouth, then you must hold a street entertainment permit issued to you by Portsmouth City Council. You are likely to be moved on from the pedestrian precinct area by a council officer if you busk without a permit. I like that both busking and moved on are in inverted commas. Why is that then? What are they trying to say? Not to worry, my friends. Getting a permit from Portsmouth City Council is a simple and painless process, which I will go through with you now. Easy work. Firstly, you need to head to the council's website and find the Street Entertainment Authorisations page. Just Google busking in Portsmouth and it comes up. Then you need to scroll down to where it says Documents. The very bottom link is the application form download link thing. It's titled Street Entertainment Application Form A4. You'll notice when you open it, the title at the top says Application for a Late Night Refreshment House License. But I assure you this is the correct form. Clearly the intern at Portsmouth City Council wasn't checking the titles, and nor was their manager. All you need to do then is fill out this form. It's pretty self-explanatory. And once you do, you can either email it to Portsmouth City Council or send it via post. The email is licensing@portsmouthcc.gov.uk, or the address is provided to you under the application information drop-down menu on the page that you downloaded the form from. I emailed mine and literally had a response the next day saying that my application had been approved and that they needed a photo of me to put on the permit. Once I'd sent that email, it took maybe 3 or 4 days and my shiny lanyard came through in the post. Simple as that. Along with your permit, you get a copy of the guidelines. You can also find all these on the Street Entertainment Authorisation webpage that you've been on the entire time. Firstly, the council recommends the following pitches. They're all marked with blue stars. Commercial Road, which is the road I actually busked on, which you're about to see. Arundel Street, which is adjacent to Commercial Road, so you're more or less in the same area, right in the centre of Portsmouth City. Cosham High Street, which is actually a completely separate area to the city centre. London Road, North End, again a completely separate area. And Palmerston Road, which is actually in Southsea. I do intend to check all these other areas out, but in this video, I stuck to the Commercial Road and Arundel Street precinct, as this literally is the pedestrian centre of Portsmouth City. Lastly, the council provide the following guidelines. I will try to get through these relatively quickly because there's a fair few. Your street entertainment permit must be displayed at all times. The entertainers shall not perform and shall vacate from an authorised area if a charitable or other organisation has authority from the city council to operate from or at an authorised area. What does that even mean? Your guess is as good as mine. If an area is not occupied, oh, okay. I think this point and the last point are just trying to say that you can't take a pitch that is already taken, even if it's taken by a charity or organisation. Just a really long-winded kind of level of saying that. Don't be rude or offensive. No amps or electrical equipment if you haven't specified that on your permit application. I specified that I use an amplifier and there was no problems. No pyrotechnics. No seating to be provided without consent. No objects, structures or stages to be used without consent. No parking vehicles on the pedestrian-only precinct. What have the Portsmouth buskers been up to for the council to come out with these rules? They've been like parking their cars on the street being like, it's fine, I'm a busker. I need my car with me. No forms of commercial promotion. Is that a thing? Like busker advertisements? Do companies sponsor buskers to advertise for them? No littering. No causing obstruction. Comply with all requests from police and council officers. If you're collecting money for a charity, you will need a street trader's license. The council reserves the right to withdraw your permit, and this just says that the council isn't responsible for anything that might happen to you whilst busking. Again, what have the Portsmouth buskers been up to? Suing the council. You might have to pay a fee to renew your permit. I have no idea why they've included this. The permit was definitely free to get. Maybe they foresee a time where it might be paid for and they don't want any arguments. And you must be 17 or over. This is one bizarre set of guidelines. Anyway, I had no problems whilst in Portsmouth, as you're about to see. And I did see several council officers wandering around, but got nothing but smiles. So let's get on with my day in Portsmouth. Spot number 1. Being provided with pitch recommendations is both a blessing and a curse. Things were looking up, you said it wasn't good enough. Still we're trying one more time. On one hand, you know that you're setting up in a designated spot, meaning shops and residents can expect a busker to be present in that area. Because I'm in deep and I'm trying to keep. But on the other hand, when you have as much choice as they've provided here in Portsmouth, it can be difficult to decide where is best to go. For spot 1, I decided to set up in pitch CR03A. Sounds like a Star Wars robot. Which is on the junction of Craswell Street, just outside Boots. I decided to go here after wandering up and down Commercial Road a few times. The most obvious and probably the best pitch seemed to be the CR01, right on the south end of the street. But there was actually highway workers making lots of noise here. That's my impression. I also hadn't anticipated any market stalls to be there. I hadn't seen anything about it being market day online, which is something I usually check for before I head out on a busk. Nonetheless, things seem to be going okay. The overall reaction was a good one, with people smiling, looking over, stopping to watch and listen, as well as the occasional donation. It took so long for us to die. However, compared to the amount of people that were present, the donations were definitely on the slimmer side. For the most densely populated place in the UK, I had expected slightly better. I was starting to question as to why it might not be going as well as it could be. Plenty of foot traffic, good weather, it was a Friday, and the people were vibing. Perhaps it was the street. This street, Craswell Street, leads directly to a Tesco supermarket. And most of the punters walking by were either on their way to or coming from their weekly food shop. I imagine tipping a busker isn't really on your mind when you're on the grocery haul.
Okay, halfway through assessment. Light. That's the word to describe it. It's going well, but could be better. I'm wondering whether this is not an optimal spot. Might be worth moving after I finish the set. Run through all my songs once, move on. I think that's going to be the tactic. We'll see.
I couldn't help but feel that perhaps my positioning was completely wrong. See, the problem with this spot on this particular day was that the majority of the foot traffic was passing by, walking along Commercial Road from south to north. The foot traffic that was walking the opposite way, north to south, were on the other side of the market stalls and therefore couldn't see me. The people walking by would only see me at the very last minute due to the building layout. And it meant that donations were only really coming from people either walking past me on Craswell Street or people that had stopped to get something from the market stalls and turn their attention to me. After one run through of the set, it was time to move on and try out a different spot. Just maybe I need this, yeah I need this, and I didn't mean to leave you. I apologise in super advance because it's proper windy today. Proper windy day. Luckily, where I was busking in Commercial Road, it's kind of shielded from the wind, so it wasn't so bad. Alright, spot number one, let's talk about it. I made a mistake where I set up, I think. It wasn't an optimal spot. If you're gonna busk in Commercial Road, I recommend going either end. I don't reckon that middle bit's any good. I think I'd have been better to face the other side, go on the other side of the street. But that said, it was a good busk. Like, it wasn't a bad one. Could have been worse, could have been better kind of vibe. I made £19.19. No card taps. But like a relatively good vibe. It was hit and miss. There were long periods with no donations and no even acknowledgement. And then there were periods where loads of people came over and smiled, chirped up and did a little sing-song and gave donations. So hard to know, right? Hard to know. Anyway, onwards to spot two. Spot number two. After another little excursion along Commercial Road and a quick peek down Arundel Street, I noticed that the highway workers had finished and left, meaning CR01 was free. So I seized my chances and set up against an information notice board with a map on it.
Thank you so much. It's in the morning, on by the time I'm here.
I always prefer to be backing onto something, and this is a wide road, so it would be a shame to set up on one of the sides.
And then when Thursday came around, I was all alone.
Immediately things got off to a way better start, getting even a few note donations within the first few songs. Dang, I love people. Too kind.
Some scratch off ticket for 212 packs in a tiger gas with it. She saw they wasted time and when she was old.
A particularly enthusiastic lady sang along to all the words of Teenage Dirtbag and honestly made my day with some of her dance moves.
Deep sea scenery, fishing at Impedimore. When I gotta see my ex-future mother-in-law anymore. Oh Lord, when it rains and pours.
Music is a crazy thing. It literally flows through people and makes them do eccentric things that perhaps, without the sounds of a pop hit from the early 2000s, they just simply wouldn't do.
My newfound luck on it if and out. And it's crazy how lately now it just seems to come in waves.
And I absolutely love knowing that I am the instigator to all this.
It's my saving grace.
Just another one of thousands of perks to being a busker.
Leaving's gotta be the only logical reason.
Things were going great, and my faith had been restored in the densely populated Portsmouth city.
She picks up on her first string when I ain't pericle.
And then one minor technical glitch occurred.
Looks at a moose bar, I want to use four-wheeler and three pairs.
So we've talked about always being prepared to bring new strings in case you snap a string, but another thing I have to bring is a battery. I really ought to get some rechargeable ones for this guitar, because my battery on the preamp of the guitar's gone. One song in, shocking. I feel a lot more positive about this spot though.
I've been on one hell of a redneck road for 3 weeks now.
Luckily, I'm prepared for these things. In fact, this week I went to my local music shop and completely sold them out of the strings that I use. Sorry, Gak. I didn't mean it. Just, I'm a busker. I need my strings.
She swore they wasted time and when she was old. Now it's caught on fire on a radio station.
I am for sure gonna try and get a string sponsor once this YouTube channel hits like 100k or something. Psst, subscribe, help me out.
To see my ex-future mother-in-law anymore. Oh Lord, when it rains and pours.
Although I was having a much better time and things were for sure going well, I still felt that things were just a little bit slow. Especially for the main area of the city. It could have been due to the wind, it was a very windy day, and also maybe just because it was a Friday. Perhaps a weekend experiment is due in Portsmouth City. But honestly, the donations in this spot were great, and as always, I was so grateful to be on the receiving end of such kindness from strangers.
But I just don't know what it is.
Just in return for doing what I love doing the most, performing and playing music.
People can you said I stay friends, but I won't see you again. Should not face me, friend. Yeah.
But the donations in this spot weren't as frequent as I would have thought they'd be. And had it not been for so many note donations from the generous, kind people of Portsmouth, I probably wouldn't have made as much as I did.
I just don't like I'm looking for love, but it's excuse on excuse on excuse. Just say when you wanna meet up.
You'll notice that amongst Portsmouth City's weird and wonderful guidelines, there's no mention of timing or time spent in pitches, so I took full advantage and stayed in spot 2 for 2 and a bit hours.
You sort of feel something. Repeat, find again. You said if I stay friends, but
Eventually, I had to call it a day because my little bladder just couldn't handle it. Most commonly, this is why I have to finish up in a busking spot. Too much information? I'm sorry. Welcome to the realities of busking. If you can relate, then comment below. Let's make a thread of too much information. Buskers desperate for the toilet. Hashtag busker problems.
I just don't know what it is. maybe it was something she was surprised.
Oh man, what a day we've had. I like it here in Portsmouth. I've decided it's not too bad. That second spot, way better than the first. Like, way better. I've done today what I would usually do, but the other way round. I did a longer time in the second spot and a shorter time in the first. Usually what ends up happening is I spend a long time in the first spot and then slightly shorter in the second or the third. I'm glad that that second spot happened. It's a much better spot. I think it's probably one of the main spots. I mean, if you're a Portsmouth busker, let me know. Nobody checked my license either. Lots of compliments in that spot. Completely made up for the first. Lots of acknowledgement. Still a lot of dry patches. And still not as crazy as, you know, I played for maybe 2 and a bit hours. 2 hours 10, 2 hours 20. You know, there are places I go where that's all I play. And I'm, you know, well into 3 figures, so. I reckon it'd be worth coming here on a weekend. Second spot total was £67.24. So there's today's total on the screen. So not a bad day at all. And if I'm honest, I could definitely set up a third time and play again, but I don't want to rinse Portsmouth, and also you have to look after your health. Playing like I do and like us buskers do for long periods of time is not, it's fun and I love it, but you have to really put all your all into it, and physically you get quite drained. So I'm just gonna take it easy. It's all good. But yeah, back to future me, signing out. Woo! Portsmouth, the most densely populated place in the United Kingdom. It's rad for busking, but it doesn't yet wear the crown. I'll be sure to return to Portsmouth, and this time I'm heading straight to CR01. And this time with an empty bladder, and maybe a slightly sunnier, less windy day. Perhaps on a weekend. I also intend on checking out the spots in Southsea and in Cosham. If you think I should make that into a separate video, then maybe drop a comment, let me know. Thank you for watching this video. If you are a Portsmouth busker, or you are a busker that frequents Portsmouth, then anything I have missed off, any advice, then please put that in the comments to help out your fellow buskers. Maybe let us know where that bizarre set of guidelines came from. Were you the busker that parked their car on the street? Come on now, own up. Give this video a like and hit subscribe. I'm only joking when it comes to the string sponsor thing. I'm not joking at all, but that's not why I want this YouTube channel to blow up and get big. I want to make it the most densely populated, busking, music related YouTube channel, because I want to help musicians far and wide. And if you are a true fan, turn the notifications on. I am August Radio Project. I make videos and they come out every Monday. Until next week, maybe watch the one on the screen or go and check out the others on the channel. I will catch you soon. Peace, love, happiness, and have a great week.